Hi guys, Gijoe here, and welcome back to my bunker here in Atlanta, Georgia. So today we are continuing our BBR series. This is episode 10, and we are going to be talking today about target selection. This is the last of the rule cards made by Sire Bloodbath rule set card deck that you can get on makingplayingcards.com. I've done a video a while back. You can maybe look on my playlist if you want to find it, but and I've mentioned this in a lot of my other videos, but anyways, you can get the specifics about these rules on card number 8 of 90. Also, if you look in the rule book that Sire Blood has offered and provided for the community, it's on page 31, and you get right here, step 2, target select, strike, or submerge. So we'll be discussing this today. And the first thing I want you to know is that the target select only applies to 2 different units on the board. The tactical bomber and the submarine are the only 2 units that can target select. Okay? Now, the target select actually is in 2 phases. Phase 1 is going to be the target select, where if the attacker rolls, and if it hits, the target select was a success, and the defending unit is immediately removed with no defense. After the target select phase, it goes immediately into general combat. Once the general combat, which is the same as out of box, once that happens, then the attacker can decide to go back and attack again, and depending on the unit they're using, phase 1 target select would occur. So let's talk about the differences. Now, obviously, we have the tactical bomber and the submarine. The submarine can be used, obviously, in the ocean, naval battles, but the tactical bomber can actually be used to target select naval units as well as land units. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about here briefly. I'll go to a couple of different scenarios and show you how the tactical bomber can work on a land tactical strike. And then I will go to a naval example to show you how the tactical bomber can be used in a naval example. I will then show you how a submarine can be used in a naval example. And then I will show you how they can both perhaps be used in tandem, okay? So let's pause here and go to our first example, which will be the tactical bomber on a land target select. Okay guys, here is our land example for target selection, and as you can see in this scenario, the Soviet Union is encircling Manchuria and they are wanting to attack Manchuria, but we are going to do so using target select. Now, there's a couple things we need to note about target select in using tactical bombers on land. A couple things here. One is a target select negates combined arms for the entire battle. So in this example, you see a fighter and a tactical bomber. Now normally, if we attacked here, the plane would attack at a 3, and the combined arms would make this tactical bomber attack at a 4. Okay? Well, if you decide to use the tactical bomber in target selection, it negates this attacking at a 4. So now it goes back to its normal attack value of 3. So that's very important. Multiple target select units can be used on the same target. So let's say that you had 3 tactical bombers right there. If you wanted to, you could take all 3 of these and roll them at 1 unit. Let's say this tank right here. You could do that if you want to. Or you could take these 3 and you could spread them out and have the tactical hit this one, this tactical hit the artillery, and say this tactical hit the AAA. All right, if you wanted to. So just so you know that. And the other thing is air units may not be targeted. So if Japan had a plane sitting here, I could not take this tactical to target select this tactical and remove it off the board, okay? Only land units, not air units, okay? And naval transports. We'll talk about that in a minute because that's going to be a naval battle. So phase 1 is that the attacker rolls. So rather than read this, I'm going to show you what would happen in this scenario. So, well, let's take this AAA out for right now. In this scenario, if I decided to target select, I would move this in. I would say, okay, I'm attacking in here like this, but I'm going to target select this tank. Now, why would I want to do that? The reason is, let's say that I didn't have this much. Let's say I only had this, right? And I wanted to remove this this tank that defends at a 3. And so what I could do is I would roll my my tactical, and if I get a 3 or less, that will be a hit. So let's pretend that I rolled a 3. That means I hit this tank. The tank is removed off of the map, and the tank cannot fire back. It cannot defend. Okay? Now, after the target select phase, since this is the only unit that I own that can target select in this battle, I just conducted the target select. I was successful, and I knocked out the tank. Now we go into general combat. So the combat happens, blah, blah, blah. Let's say that I got hit twice. I remove this. Now we're into round 2 of the battle. Now the thing about the tactical bomber is you cannot target select on any round after the first round. So now it's just a normal battle in that I would have a 2, a 2, a 3, and yes, a 3. Because if you remember, if you decide to target select, this negates the combined arms. Now in this scenario that I have, I probably wouldn't have target selected, okay? Because, you know, I might have wanted to keep this 4 in combined arms. But so what this does is this gives you an option. But you might find yourself in a scenario where you have, where you want to remove the highest defending role that the defender has so that you can take it off so that you can minimize the casualties that you have as an attacker, okay? Now, let's do another scenario. Let's say that there are no planes. Let's say that there's a AAA here, right? This is the question that we've gotten a lot of times before. But if I come into attack and I decide to target select, the first thing that happens in this scenario is this AAA does get to fire, okay? Because that is the first thing that happens in the order of sequence. So let's say that the AAA fires and misses. Well, at this point, then I can target select whichever I decide. I target select the tank is destroyed, okay? And then we go on. Now, why would one want to target select? Well, for instance, in this instance, if I were to attack and hit them only once, the defender is going to pick this to lose as a casualty. But this way, I as the attacker get to choose and select what unit has to be removed from the defender. So, and the other important thing that is to remember that the tactical bomber cannot target select in any round other than the first round, right here. Tactical bombers may use target select once per battle, and that implies only in the first round. Okay, first round, target select, okay, general combat, and then when you come back, in this instance, it would just be continuing general combat, okay? So that's pretty cut and dry. So now let's go to a naval example, and I'll show you how the tactical bomber can be used in a naval target selection. Okay, here's an example of a naval battle. And again, the thing about naval battles, they're a little bit more intricate because there are so many different types of ships. You know, is there a destroyer? Is there not a destroyer? Capital ships, you know, they can take 2 hits or not take hits. But I'm just going to show you the basic concept of a target select with a tactical bomber in a naval battle. So here we have the target select can only happen with the attacker. So if I'm Japan and I'm attacking the United States, even though there are 2 tacticals here, they cannot target select me back. Only the attacker can target select. So in this case, there are 2 types of ships here. You have carriers and transports. Now, a tactical bomber can target any naval ship except a transport. It says right here, okay? It says air units may not be targeted, and naval transports may be targeted by submarines only. Okay. So in this case, the only option that I would have to target select if I wanted to target select would be this carrier, right? Now, why might I want to do that? Well, say for instance, let's say, well, let's not do that. Let's put a couple cruisers in here, and these are, I'm not going to have the right ships, but this will be the wrong nationality. So well, let me go ahead and get the right nationality. 1 second here. Okay, the United States has 2 cruisers in this battle. Now, what I might want to do is, in this case, things are not looking too good, and I want to ensure that there is a hit on a carrier. Because why? If there's a hit on this carrier, that means no planes can land on it, right? Of course, this is in the middle of the ocean. And so let's say that I target select, and I hit this carrier, and I damage this carrier. All right? Well, then if I damage the carrier, that would be phase 1. So phase 1, the attacker rolls. Let's say that I rolled and I got a 3. The attacker rolls, and the target select was a success. The defending units are immediately removed. Now, a carrier can take 2 hits, so it wouldn't be immediately removed. It would just get a hit. Okay? Now, let's say that we do the battle, and we, they hit me once. Let's say they hit me twice, and then I damage my battleship. All right, let's say they hit me 3 times. Well, at this point, let's say I only hit them twice. Well, normally what they would probably do to save their planes, they might take the 2 cruisers as the 2 casualties. But if I only hit them twice, let's say one of them was a target select. If I'm target selecting the carrier is now damaged, right? And then after the first round of battle, I realize it's hopeless. Now I say, you know what? I'm going to withdraw. And so now these planes cannot land. So even though I only hit them 1 time or twice, I've just killed their planes. So because planes cannot land on a damaged carrier, obviously. So, I mean, that's perhaps not the best example of a target select, but it's just to show you that there might be times in your game where you want a certain piece taken off the board in order to, stop something from happening, some type of amphibious assault or what have you. Now, just so you know that the tactical bomber in a naval battle can target select any naval unit except for a transport. It can a cruiser. You can target select a cruiser, an aircraft carrier, a battleship, or a destroyer. Okay, so these are the different elements that a tactical can target select. All right, cruiser, aircraft carrier, destroyer, or battleship. It cannot target select a submarine. Transport. All right, so now I want to show you about a submarine and how that works, and then maybe how these can be used in tandem. Okay, guys, in this example, we're going to be talking about the submarine target select. Now, it says right here that for submarines may use target select in each round of battle. Okay, now, in our first naval battle example with the TAC, just like in the land battle, the tactical bomber can only target select in the first round. After that, it just participates in a normal combat phase, okay? But a submarine, however, can target select in each round of the battle if no enemy destroyer is present. So in this example, watch this. In this example, the sub has options. It can target select any one of these ships, including the transports, because if you look right here, it says naval transports can be target selected by submarines. So this, I would have the option. If I wanted to target select this, I could, but watch this. Let's say that the cruiser's not there. Let's say that things weren't going great. In this situation, let's say I just have 2 subs, for instance. Let's put 2 subs out here. I've got 2 subs, and what we have here is we have transports that can't defend. We have an aircraft carrier that can defend. However, the planes cannot hit these subs because there's no destroyer present. So what happened is I could instantly go into target select, and I would have a choice. I could either target select the carrier, or I could target select the transports, or I could put one on one, one on the other, okay? So, and again, each scenario is totally different, and you can come up with all these types of different options and target selections that are best for your certain naval battle scenario. But in this example, maybe I target select both of these onto the carrier, right? And so here's what happens. Let's say that I get 1 hit on the carrier. Out of the, I roll, well, let's just do it right now. All right. Okay, I rolled a 2, which means I got 1 hit on the carrier because I was target selecting the carrier. Now there's a hit on the carrier. Now the carrier will get to defend, all right, since it does get to absorb a hit. So let's say that the carrier rolls and it gets a 4, so the carrier misses. But here's the situation. The planes can't attack me back. So now I have a decision to make. If I withdraw right now, the carrier sits there with 1 damage point, but then the planes are dead in the water because they can't land on a damaged carrier. But in this case, I might go for broke. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna target select it again, all right? So then I roll again. Let's say I roll a 2 again. And then now the carrier is gone. And now the carrier does not get to roll back at me because it's off the board. So now these planes are automatically dead, right? Boom. So now we have a situation here. Well, now these transports are auto-killed, all right? Now the other thing that I could do is I could do this. I could decide that, you know what? I don't care about this carrier. The carrier really doesn't scare me. All I want to do is keep this amphibious assault from happening. So I'm just going to go in here and target select these. And let's say I roll 2s. Boom. These are gone, which means these pieces are gone. And then let's say that in defense, the carrier rolls a 2. I kill 1 sub, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I withdraw. So subs can be used to target select any naval unit, of course, if there's not a destroyer present. Now, the way to negate that is to simply add a destroyer. So let me grab a destroyer, and let's see what happens. If there's a destroyer present now, and I've got a couple subs, now this is a total game changer, all right? Total game changer in that now I can't target select at all. So now this is just a total battle, all right? I shoot, I roll a 2, then he gets to decide what he's going to take as a casualty. Now he can't take planes because subs can't hit planes, so he'd have to either take his destroyer or damage his carrier, all right? Now, let's talk about in tandem. So the way, let me just say this. If you have a large naval force, the way to protect yourself against target selections from subs is to make sure you have not just 1, but many, many destroyers. And here's why. Let's talk about a tandem attack between both, all right? So let's say in this instance, I've got a carrier, attack, a fighter, and 2 subs. Now here's what I might do. I might say, you know what? I want my tactical to go after the destroyer, and then after that, my subs are going to go after the transport. Okay? Well, let's say in this instance, let's say, and this is all in the first round of battle, okay? So I roll a 3, I kill this destroyer. It does not get to defend. Okay, now I can't target select this yet because I'm still in the first phase of target selection right here. And in the first phase, there was a destroyer present when we started. So now a normal battle will ensue. Okay, let's say that they hit me, they defend back and they hit me twice, all right? No, let's say they hit me once, all right? I'm going to I'm going to lose, let's say I'm going to damage my carrier because I'm close enough where I can land on Japan. So I'm going to damage my carrier, right? Okay. Now we go to round 2. Now, since the destroyer is gone, now my subs can target select these transports. But keep in mind, my tactical bomber cannot target select in the second round because it can only target select in the first round, okay? So I know that's a lot of information, but all the information is right here on this card. Keep in mind that there are only 2 units that can target select. One is a sub, one is a tactical bomber. A tactical bomber can only it can target select any naval unit with the exception of a transport, and then it can target select any land unit. It cannot target select air units. The sub can target select any naval unit other than a destroyer, okay? And if a destroyer is present, it negates the target select until the destroyer is gone. All right? So, hope this makes sense, guys. And again, if you just get this card and you read through this, it should make sense. And like I said, sorry if this wasn't the best example, but there are so many different possible scenarios. You know, if you think about things such as Germany opening set G1, you've got, you know, UK C-Zone 110 and 111, and you've got those tacks for Germany. You know, think about possible scenarios of using target selection and taking out some of those ships. Same thing with Japan. You know, Japan starts the game with several tacks. And so, you know, scenarios where that Japan can use those tacks to maybe take off units. And again, the whole purpose of target selection is to remove pieces off of the board from the defender that you, as an attacker, get to decide what they take off, rather than the defender deciding what they take off. And it takes off their defense roll, so it helps to minimize your casualties as well. So, hope this makes sense, guys. A lot of information. If you have any questions or if this wasn't clear, please type them below in the comment box below. So hopefully this clears it up. And if you didn't know about target selection, now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Gijoe!